Welcome to Elite 6 Think Tank, an open discussion group with business owners who share their knowledge, experience and skills.
So this is the kind of chat and we always wait for the he always turns up a couple of minutes late. He's got this terrible habit.
Good morning, everybody. I'm practicing being an introvert.
That's good. Right. Might have a visitor tuning up here. I'm not sure who's this. Oh, he's chickened out.
At least was wrong way.
All right. Okay. Okay.
We can start now, Rob's.
Yeah, I know. Rob's here. And Elise. Here's a bit of life for the party. So, if for the podcast listeners, if you haven't met Elise, she's a billboard celebrity. Go on. That's perfect voice then. Brilliant. All right, welcome along. A think tank meeting. Everyone's behave. Right, introvert is definitely an extrovert.
Mr. Williams on time.
All right, you might have a few extra faces here you haven't met for a wee while. We've got Dean on my left here in the round corner, whose children have just been fighting in
the jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Do they win?
Yeah. My daughter did. Nice. My son got second. Yeah. Yes, they did all right.
Well done.
Yeah, actually, I did.
How's that
Sounds
family
cool. Is it-
dynamic at the moment then?
Which one was fighting the world champ?
Maddie, it changed, the division changed, so no.
Right, world champ celebrities. Watch Sky if you want an update. Anyone else not know anyone else here who's with familiar faces? With no one. Everyone knows you. Everyone knows Elise. Yeah, she's got a small wee businesses helping people with mortgages. All right, so last week's topic was. It was obviously a riveting one. Discipline. And from having discipline in our business, we all figured out that we all needed structure, we needed habits, and we also needed to stay focused. Basically the four qualities that not everyone can easily apply in their business. Next week's topic, I want this meeting to finish up on the topic of guilt. Because I was going to make that this week's topic, but I forgot after I published all the topic for the weeks. So if we can round this conversation into why we feel guilty in business later on, then next week's topic could be guilt. But if we morph into another topic, we'll pick that topic. But I'm trying to get you down the road of feeling about being guilty in your business when you take a day off during the week.
So what are we doing this week?
We're talking about structure. And how we need structure in our business and things that you could do that would give you structure. Now, I'm not a coach, but I did hear a really good saying the other day, and I have to agree with it. Coaches need coaching.
Yep.
Yeah, and I find that's a pretty cool one. That's good, and here's Stephen. All right, so first part, we've got 4 parts of the meeting. I'll explain how it works. We've got 3 balls. If you want to talk, put your hand up, I'll give you a ball. And if you want to talk after the person with the ball, you put your hand up. And then when I've got no balls, that's mean there's no more room. And then if you talk too long, I'll pry the ball out of your hand. And if that doesn't work, I'll throw a glass of water over you. And I have done that. But I try not to. So first, we've got 4 parts of the meeting. The first part is what's people's experiences with trying to have structure in their business. Don't all race out of the gate. Okay, I'll rephrase the question. Who has structure in their business? Elise with the ball. Good catch.
Structure is really important in not just your business but your day-to-day life in a way. I mean, I find having my online calendar amazing. If it's not in my calendar, it's not in my life. And that creates that I can create separation in not just my day, but I can also check in with my team members and what they're up to as well, because it's the same. So if I get a phone call, I can tell you that Holly isn't in the office because she's so-and-so.
So could you live without your calendar?
Hell no.
I don't have one, I don't use one. But I'm wondering how come my business can survive without one and yours wouldn't survive without one. Do you know what I mean?
Depending on your industry, I suppose. I have meetings, so I have those all in there. And then I have meetings, and so yesterday I was on an advisory committee, so that was put in there so everyone knew I was out of the office, so if anything came in, they can check up on it. I suppose it depends on the dynamic of your business, how big you are, and the type of business it is.
Yep. Yeah, okay.
Other
There's
questions?
oh, you've got a ball. Passing the ball was not in, but we'll let that happen.
Yeah. I mean, are we talking about the structures or system?
No, it's structure.
Kind of like also fit into the systems, right?
Well, systems are part of your structure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was just going to add to, because I could not live without my calendar for sure, but it's also being able to, it's that brain power. If I know that on Monday afternoon I've got to recontact Fred Smith,
Airman.
then I don't have to think about that anymore, so I can just file it away and use my brain for something else. So calendars are essential.
I can always remember one piece of
This is David.
advice.
David Clarkson with a name badge.
Just in case I get lost, you know, why wouldn't you wear a name badge? If you get lost, people have got to be able to say, David, come with me.
David's off to the
We're all lost,
outside.
that's why we're here.
What do you mean off to it? Yeah. Hey. Anyway, I always remember a good piece of advice I got given by a woman called Wendy Daly, who used to offer her services out as an organiser, and she would help you organise your offices and generally do your thing. But one of the things that she said is that only have one diary.
Yeah.
But what you often find is that people will have one diary at home and one diary at work, and they'll invariably put one appointment in one of them and not in the other, and they'll invariably forget the most important one. That's movement.
Absolutely. The other thing,
Do you want to talk?
no,
Okay. Yeah, the diary is important, but of course in this day and age you have an electronic diary, so you can access it wherever you are. So last time I used a paper diary was about 1949. None's shaking your head. I know, but there are still sad people out there who use paper diaries, and it keeps the Collins publishers in business, I suppose. Talking about structure though, in my business as an insurance broker, you certainly need that around all of the paperwork, the files and the systems, and the fact that so much of it is auditable, that you actually have to have good structures around that stuff. But I guess the thing that saved me is that I write databases as well, so all of my client information is within a database, so I can access it readily and I can put whatever pertinent information into it.
Probably like to keep it a bit more simple after Nigel gives his comment. I did see you had a ball there, Nigel.
Are you saying I'm simple?
Yeah.
You didn't say?
That's right.
Simplex.
Businesses are more than just diaries though, aren't they? You just brought up databases. I've been trying to find some kind of a product on my computer which kind of like ties everything together. And I've looked at 2 or 3 different ones, but I just don't seem to have the mindset to think go there first and sort of work from there. Does anyone have any thoughts on that?
We're going to be talking about systems now, aren't we? Yeah.
Well, yeah, but
Talking about the
it's,
systems right
that's
now.
what I'm trying to say. There's more to just your diary.
Depending on your budget.
It's pretty handy.
Yeah, the perfect one will be called Simpro, and then it costs you about $4,000 to setting up, and then paying monthly about $300, and sort of you can do whatever you want. Seriously, fantastic. I've been introduced Simpro by one of the electrical company, and then they are loving it.
But
Get
then-
all things together.
At their level, it's probably great.
That's what we use.
What is it called?
Simpro. Yeah, but it's customised for our type of business.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Simpro will be the top one. They give Simpro a phone call, and then they say, maybe in your situation, maybe you have to try ServiceMate and the Tradify. I'm currently using Tradify, is not really 100% happy with that. But it's cheap.
All right. We've got Rob actually, and then you can grab a ball. There's 2 balls here. Rob.
I think that we
perhaps need to define what structure is.
Thank you.
And I'm
Why don't
not
you
saying
just come
that-
up and run the meeting?
And I'm not. Well,
Do you want me to look it up?
but I'm not saying necessarily I'm going to help you, but I'm going to throw a couple of things out that have come up in the last couple of minutes. So there's the structure of your own business, i.e. your management or leadership or your business structure, i.e. are there staff or team members, are there middle managers, are there executive levels, blah, 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 or are you all of those rolled into one? And can you change that structure? But the other structure that I'm hearing as well, as applies to my own business, is if there's like 3 or 4 tasks that you could, or categories that you could break down all of your tasks that you do in your business into, do you structure the time that you allocate to each one? So for example, if I am a trainer and I'm spending Monday to Friday 9 to 5 creating the training, am I spending any time creating the customers?
No.
And am I spending any time on the accounts? Am I spending any time on my own personal development or anything like that? Which means, are we structuring our weeks to adequately reflect all the tasks that need to happen for a business to operate well?
I like what you've done with that actually, because that's kind of what I was going to do if I was running the meeting. Elise.
Kind of feeding on from that, how many people here sit down once a month, once a week, once a couple of weeks to actually work on their business? Have directors meetings, there we go, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Because that's so important. By the way, Mr. Cameraman, that's a few hands, not any.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Interesting enough.
But it's just working on it, not in it, and that's kind of leading from what you're saying. Is I talked about the structure of my personal day-to-day, week-to-week, but in that we have our one-on-ones with our team, we have directors meetings once a month, and brainstorming meetings of actually working on the business, not just in it.
All right, thank you. I'm just going to interlude here. I'm just going to liken it to if we were to build a house and we would have to have structure to make it sustainable. What materials do we have to have? Like we have to have a good foundation, and then the building materials can vary, which could be the different types of businesses that we have, but we all need a roof, which protects us from the weather, which is the point of a structure, really, isn't it? So we were liking those things to a business. Sort of like Rob said, what do we actually... Did you look up the definition?
Yeah, I did.
Is that what you're going to talk about?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Let's go to Google. Well, the reason you're getting shitty with your bull there, young ladies, you wouldn't give it back, so I introduced a new bull.
I didn't give it back because I had something to say.
You didn't say that. You went like, it's mine.
Oh, she's going to throw it.
Did we go for her or you? Let's go. Let's show my dominance.
For the podcast,
Okay.
should use Siri.
Structure, the arrangement of and relations between the parts or elements of something complex.
Oh my god, that's boring.
Or the verb, construct or arrange according to a plan, give a pattern or organisation to it.
I'm hearing pattern.
Yeah.
Pattern's really good. All right, where are we? I've lost it now. We've got Grumpy Mum.
So can I just carry on from
Lady in
that
blue.
Okay.
while I'm here?
All right. Sorry. Sorry.
So I guess some of that would be to do with how you structure your day. So do you answer your emails first or midway through the day, or how you set up your day? I mean, I don't have a set pattern of answering emails first or doing phone calls first or whatever, but yeah, I guess structuring your day is probably quite important.
Christopher.
Lady in blue, please.
Okay.
Ladies.
No, I'm not serious, I don't want to talk anymore.
We're all waiting now.
No, I was just going to say, and it leads back to it.
I see you're indecisive now, yeah.
I am going to
Let's be kind to Sharon time from here on out.
Yeah.
Right there.
Exactly.
He looks
I
nice.
also use my diary as a time in motion. So even if I've got like all of this afternoon free, I will do something and then I'll actually go back and put it into my diary so that I do have my weekly reports in with a business coach, and then my quarterly shareholders meetings and all the rest of it, so I can go back and say, okay, well, actually my sales haven't been that great this month, but if I go back and look at my diary and look at my time in motion, that's because I've got my nails done one too many times, or I spent too much time doing management stuff and not enough time doing the sales, or whatever it is. So it's quite good just to make sure that whatever your working hours are, you fill in your diary so that you can then look back and therefore plan.
I suppose you could theoretically identify unproductive time.
Exactly.
Yeah, oh, I get that. Thank you for your contribution. It was really nice, and your nails look lovely.
You're welcome.
She's given me the ball back.
Of course I've given the ball back, didn't you? Because I've got nothing more to say.
I'll put it back to 3.
Well,
Yeah, who was
where's the
next?
weight?
Sorry. Dean, is it?
Okay, I'll go. Yeah, I'm probably the not the person to be still talking about structure because it's one of the most hardest, most difficult things for me. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you think this was a Jehovah's Witness convention?
I'm not a structural person by nature, but I've had to work that part of myself out of my business, basically. I use other people to bring structure into my life. I delegate structure, so I get alerts from my office manager and stuff like that. So that's a godsend. But one of the things I've found, whatever business, I think it's how you start your morning is really, really important. That's an awesome time to have structure where you are planning your day or your week. You get yourself in a decent frame of mind, or whatever you meditate, or do whatever the hell, exercise or whatever. I think that's probably a good place to start if you're looking at it.
I'm hearing the word mindset.
Yeah. That is to me in business, mindset's almost 80% of business in my experience. It honestly is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I 10 times on that one. Is that a David Clarkson? I'm next. Smile.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I'm lucky to be next.
You are.
But some comment that Dean made about his office manager gives him a whistle and lets him know if he's got jobs to do. I think if we're looking at structure, a couple of things think about in terms of structure. One is what sort of business structure are you going to have? Are you going to have a partnership, sole trader? Are you going to have you're going to be a sole trader? You're going to go into partnership? Are you going to be a limited company? Are you going to be a not-for-profit organisation? What are you going to be? That's one of the first things we've got to decide for ourselves, and oftentimes it's handy to go and get professional advice in that, so that you make the right decision. Especially things like you get benefits of limited liability if you are a company and maybe it doesn't go well. If you're limited liability, you can oftentimes move away before you get burnt too badly, and that's a functional structure. The other thing that I think about when I'm thinking about structure, and it's largely determined by size, because the bigger we get, the more we've got to focus on structure, because you're starting to look at things like differentiation of tasks, specialisation for people that are helping you, and that sort of thing. So your office manager's a specialist, maybe your account manager, if you've got one working for you, it's another specialist. You may have an IT person working for you, so you need an IT specialist. So you've got to build, the bigger you get, if you like, the more important it is that you have a clear structure with lines of accountability and all that sort of thing. And finally, and I'll finish it on this, is your structures can either be hierarchical, which means that you have one structure that goes from the CEO at the top down to the workers at the bottom, if you like, that
team members
structure. Or you can have a flat structure, which means maybe your CEO or a couple of people at the top, and then the balance of your structure is spread out below that, everybody being pretty much equal in contributing to the activities of the company. So that's the thing.
That's cool. So just because we've got a few different businesses in the room, how many staff have you got?
13.
Unlucky for some. You've got 6. Anyone else got people working for them? Sharon? 4. So when you morphed in to being a
Too many.
Too many.
Staff turnover was too high.
Yeah.
So come and go all the time.
So
But
probably
yeah.
my point to that conversation is when you went from one-man band to, you would have had to change the whole structure and the way you did things, and stepping away from running it yourself and doing it yourself would have been probably the biggest leap.
If you don't have structure and you have staff, it's just not
Team members.
team members. If you don't have a structure and your team members, then it's just not.
No staff.
No, that's cool. Where are we going with this, Mark?
Yeah. Well, I went the other way. I went from 50 staff to the one-man band. And
Are you that bad of a boss?
That's high staff turnover, that is.
Yeah. And I bet it all happened in a week.
In some one class.
but I guess for me,
You used to run a cruise ship.
yeah, HMS
Too
Titanic.
early.
Oh, sorry.
But I guess for me is that I brought across a whole range of transferable skills, which has been really useful, and I don't miss having 50 staff and all the issues that go around 50 staff, to be fair. And so in my insurance brokerage, that's absolutely fine to be working on that. But it all is all around those systems and structures, and picking up from what Elise said is taking the time to reflect on your business. So one of the skills that I brought across with me was really like and it just sits on my desktop on the computer, a sort of a priority matrix type thing. So obviously, and for most of you as well, your key priority is your current clients you're dealing with. So they occupy the first section, and dropping down from that is what sorts of things are you doing with them. So I just make a note of that. Equally, you've also got elements in there around the paperwork that's allied with past client that needs to be refreshed and doing those things sort of thing. But there's the other section which is based on the regulatory framework that I've got to work towards and learn as well in this new FMA world. So that's part of what sits there. So I target every Tuesday as my office day. But because my clients are sacrosanct, if I need to have an appointment with a client on Tuesday, I do, because that will take that space. But I'm having to force myself to do those sort of admin
Do you
tasks.
then ensure that you're blocking out a couple of hours on Wednesday to make up for your client meeting on a Tuesday?
No, because my time is flexible, and I'll do it when I need to in the week anyway.
How many appointments would you have a week? Just put it in perspective.
Not counting networking, because networking I do 4, but with clients, 2 or 3.
Yeah. So a different, maybe a cleaner, or I don't know how many you do, but every industry is quite different on that side of it. Thank you. Right. It's you. Go on, mate.
Hearing all the comments and Sharon's one really hit home here. The lady in blue, for those who aren't here. That one thing popped in my head, and that is, if you didn't proactively or reactively put into your diary, aka list of what you did today, how do you know where you're spending your time? And how do you know if you're spending enough time in certain places or too much time in certain places? Right, and I actually think that, imagine if you go back at the end of the year, or the end of the quarter or month or whatever, and tally up, where am I spending my time? Who would know in this room where you're spending your time? You know, and if you don't know where you're spending your time, you don't know if you should be spending your time there. But the other thing that popped into my head is, imagine if you're unstructured.
What's that like, Rob?
So I think, well, it kind of arguably puts us back on track if you consider that structure is the opposite of unstructured. Unstructured is basically where you wake up in the day and you don't know what you're going to do, but you know you're going to do some work, and you're just going to go wherever the bright light shines and wherever your attention goes, but not necessarily to where you should be going. And I'll just give you an example of mine. I hate wrapping up the stuff that I sell online. hate it with a vengeance. So I put that off, I put that off, and then I say, oh my God, they bought that a bloody week ago, and I haven't sent it out yet. So I did one little bit of structuring. I took all the buy nows off my stuff, and all the auctions end on one day, and then 2 days later I look who's paid, and I wrap them up. And if they didn't pay within 2 days, they weren't in a hurry for it anyway, right? So they can wait till the following week.
So it's been proactive, Rob, rather than reactive.
Well, I reacted to my problem.
Leave it. Okay, I'm hearing lots of things here. So, Sahira.
I was going to cross over with a few people, mindsets. So I work from home, but I also work in coffee shops, people's offices. So you have to get yourself into the mindset. So I always leave at least 45 minutes to get myself into that mindset, so I can be a consultant to work with them. But then I need to get into the mindset of being a mum, and that needs structure to actually move. Because if I brought my work into the house, my kids fall apart because they know straight away what I'm doing. So I think structure with mindset is so important. As with structure for a business, if you're working for yourself, I mean, I am a business. So what I find, as well as keeping a diary, I keep a logbook. So I keep a logbook of what I'm doing, where I'm focusing, what's going on. So a bit like Hugh was saying, filling in the time, where your time goes. I find a logbook really helps me consolidate that. It also allows me to start planning what do I need to invest time in going forward.
Has anyone ever thought about getting an A4 piece of paper and actually writing down what they do throughout the week out of any surprise?
Yeah.
That's what I was describing on my...
That's good. Stephen.
Yes. Very good, Ken.
Yeah, it was cricket.
The structure, I agree with you. First thing in the morning I get up and I have a to-do list. After I meditate, I write down the things that I need to do for the day. So then I've given myself structure immediately. But a prompt for structure with regards to preparing ourselves for what's coming. An insurance pitch is loss of income insurance with coronavirus coming. If you want structure in your system, you have to think about not only how you operate, but how you protect yourself and your business and your staff and your team members and yourself for the longevity. So I'm not sure where everyone's sitting with regards to understanding what might be coming and what might be the effect on our business.
Can we control that? I mean, I've had the tone of that all weekend actually, and it's actually brought. It's been quite flat week this week because it's something unexpected that we might have to deal with, and a lot of people aren't prepared for it.
Because following on briefly on Stephen's thing about that, I was processing a client application yesterday online, and now in the medical thing, you just get to a certain point and have you been to China or a person you are associated with since December 2019? It's just suddenly appeared.
Wow. I had a client yesterday ask if his loan application was being put off because of the coronavirus.
Imagine how many of the couriers and things are being affected at the moment. So it's already
Education, forestry, forestry.
Yeah, the illness may not be here, but the effects of it are here.
There's so much hysteria for nothing.
Yeah, that's what I reckon.
It's just media-driven hysteria. It's no different from the flu, and the flu kills more people.
But remember,
it is quite a bit.
Yeah, I think that's too.
Yeah. Remember when they said the world was round and they proved it was flat?
You got to bump up the world economy somehow because it's all failing. So
you've been reading the wrong books then.
Do this theory. I was just going to say that the around structure, and it's interesting with the coronavirus stuff. It is quite pertinent to businesses to actually step back and part of what we do is I run obviously classes every week, and the question that we're looking at the moment is if I wasn't around because I got sick, or what is there structure in my business, and then flow on into systems to be able to enable the business to keep going, to be able to function without you in the position you're in now.
Income protection, mate.
No, key man.
Without lining the pockets of insurance.
Person insurance?
But if you don't have the right structure in the business from the outset, then when something comes up that's unexpected, the whole thing's going to fall like a house of cards. You have to have that foundation, that structure underneath that. If you pulled yourself out, God forbid someone had cancer or something like that, maybe or got hit by a car, would your business be able to keep running? And it will only be able to do that if you've got the right structure in place.
All the right business, to be fair.
Yeah. Sorry.
All the right business. You need enough scale to be able to do that.
Well, you're on the money there, because that's true. I mean, what do I do? Most of us one-man bands. I mean, you're a counsellor, so you're going to, well, okay, I know you're a life, well, because the proper name, label it.
I'm a mental fitness consultant.
A mental fitness consultant. Now, if you're out of the game, what do you do?
You can't systemise that, can you?
Yeah, and there's a challenge. David's a public speaking coach.
You can.
You might not be able to see people, but what would stop you is changing your business to offering the same stuff completely online.
It could do. That's if you want to, though.
Coronavirus doesn't affect. So there's different ways.
It's a whole different business.
But is her business structured to actually allow to make that pivot?
Yeah. Chris, that was
something to think about.
That was going to be my point to you, is you have everybody coming to you, but if we all went to lockdown, you could be providing a service for everybody in lockdown at home.
Correct.
And there may be an increase in your business because you've structured it so everyone's in lockdown, they've got nothing to do, so then they take on.
Yeah, I could do YouTube videos on how to wire your house and fix your wood head.
I like people laughing about that, so it's probably not a bad idea.
What's interesting?
It's just having the fact you need the sign off.
My brother,
you don't.
My brother was installing a boiler in his house. He's in England the other day, and something was wrong with it. And it's interesting you talk about that, because what he did, over there it's snowing and stuff at the moment, so it's hard to get around.
Yeah.
He rang his boiler friend, and on WhatsApp, they were streaming. He was fixing his boiler while his mate was looking and advising him what to touch and what to do. And
There is actually sidetrack. There is a regulation where if a homeowner can do their own electrical work. Shouldn't be a regulation in my book, but it's a regulation. You can actually do your own.
Mind you can surgery like that, can't you?
Yeah, you can. But I'm not advocating it, but hey, go for it. Knock yourself out.
That's 240 watt on.
All right, how are we doing on this topic? We've got 25 minutes left. So we're talking about people's experiences with structure. It was really good. What was the other part of the meeting that we used to talk about?
Well, you said there's 3 other parts.
Problems without having structure. Potentially could be chaos. Right.
Stress.
Tips that we've got so far is maybe write down what you do.
You've got that.
That's a good point.
Without structure, you wouldn't have it because you don't care, because you don't know that you're
you're probably blissfully.
Yeah, blissfully ignorant.
Just cruising.
Why's my business just gone under? Oh, yeah. That's fine.
Actually, I've got a daughter like that.
Yeah. So okay. So okay, I don't know.
I think structure
That'd
helps
help.
cash flow.
Cash
If you've got good structure, then I think it makes it easier to maintain your cash flow.
It's about certainty.
Yes.
Structure, isn't it?
David's got something to say.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
It's just
Hold it. Just wait your horse there, mate. As he's talking. Horse trainer.
I just remember when I was in the oil industry, a number of my clients used to be petrol station and garage operators, and this what used to happen, and it's a reflection of the structure, was the guys were good mechanics. Okay, they were good under cars, fixing stuff. They weren't any good at accounting or doing their accounts and getting their stuff out on time. So very often either they didn't charge people or they undercharged people, or for that matter sometimes may have overcharged them. And the reality of it is part of your structure has got to be your systems so that they help maintain the structure and keep you going.
I had stopped using traders before because they wouldn't invoice me for weeks.
Yeah, it's good. I like that.
Rob, do you want to talk?
Thanks, Rob. Yeah, that one. Maybe that was
It's the answer.
Don't give him too many balls, he'll talk. Smart.
Good on you, mate.
I'm just hearing that structure, planning and culture are actually all interrelated, maybe even the same thing. But the interesting thing that I'm taking out is that it would be quite interesting if we were to fill in our calendars / diaries of what we actually did through our working day, or even outside our working day, which was work related, to find out where are we spending our time, and just to do that for a week. And have a look after a week to say, what did I actually do? You know, where did I spend my time? Where would I have spent my time if I had, if I was looking at my diary as if it was someone else's diary, what advice would I have given them based on what I'm looking at? And I think that would be a good thing to do. But then, even if we were to challenge ourselves to do that for a week, do that kind of business coaching to ourselves, and then think, next week, this is where I should spend my time, and if I've exhausted the amount of time that I should be doing on one aspect of my business, I'm not allowed to do that for the rest of the week. I need to turn that down and get into that discipline which linked in with last week.
I can't say what I'm thinking.
Oh, sorry.
That's right.
Catch that.
Yeah, all right. So we'll go to Mark, the guy that's really nice.
And I'll ignore the violence. Picking up on the structure thing, you know, I think most people here have got a pretty good understanding of the structure that they need in their business, whether they're sole operators or have a small team around them. But a thing that was mentioned right at the start by Danny, which was that even coaches, behave yourself, even coaches need coaches. I'm the 4th year into my business, and it was at the end of last year I got a business coach, mentor, aka sounding board, critical friend, to just sort of sit down with me and unpack what I currently do. For me to talk about what I think I'm doing and where I'm going, and it was really useful to get that reflection back. So I'd encourage everyone, if you haven't already done so, to do that with someone that you trust, and it could be a paid person or someone else, to really have an outside view of what's happening within your business and beyond.
You don't know what you don't know.
I think that's something that's really important to think about. That if you don't get, I call it help, or support, or understanding on what you're thinking, I mean, it's just such a waste of time, isn't it?
And it doesn't have to be a paid person.
No. It can just be a sound.
You can talk to me, guys.
It can be anyone. I've got a friend and I talk to my dad a lot about business stuff.
I'm enjoying it. I do it. All right, we've got Chris.
Just
and then
on
Dean.
Mr. Wooley's comment around trying to work out your times. There's some really simple, just a tip for you. You can download like 7-day trials of software that you can chuck on your PC or your phone or both, and it will just record what you do all through the day.
Detecting an honest answer.
It's like a stalker.
Because honestly, if you try and record it yourself, inevitably you'll skip things or you'll make it seem longer than it actually is. But it's really interesting if you chuck it on for like 7 days, a piece of software, and it's just monitoring where you're doing your activity, that you're actually busy at the computer or you're on the phone and things.
Spend 4 hours on the loo.
Then to look back at that and actually get that analysis completely of what your day is like, and maybe you're taking breaks every 15 minutes and you don't even realise it, or you're quite actually spending a lot more time on here than you thought. Suddenly you get that perspective and you haven't actually had to sit doing it.
Time and motion study.
Yeah, and it works.
What sort of software is it called?
Too scary.
What would you search for to find that software?
You just do a time management.
Time management, yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
download
pie is like a pie in a way, isn't it? All right, we're
for your staff,
Dean.
it's really good. Sorry, team. If you want to track what they're doing.
Team, right? Dean.
I've got a team, and I've been trying for years to systemise my business. Not something that naturally comes easy to me. So there's a couple of neurons missing.
But at least you know that.
yeah. So I'm trying to. But anyhow, we've come across some software that we are now using. One's called Lucid Charts, and that forms little diamonds and squares, and you've got lanes.
Yep.
So one lane's for admin, and that's the task the admin do in there. And then if the client's needs a quote, it flows down to the estimator, and you map this out, right? And it's a wee bit of been a light bulb for me in my business. So we've now mapped out different sections of our business: with heat pumps, renewable energy, student servicing, and projects. So we've got that, and now it's actually starting to make sense to me how you create this structure.
Yeah, it's good. I'm enjoying this.
So then I go to each diamond or square or rectangle, and we go, okay, what's the script we have for when the phone call comes in, or what's our fixed pricing list?
Does it cost you money?
So No, it's free. I paid
Right
about
up Sean's alley.
$500 to do the first one for us.
It's about $10 a month if you buy a subscription.
So that's one thing we're using, and the other thing I use is Asana, which is about projects. You can create a project with tasks for different people, and I link them all into that same project. And then Asana, don't look at it because most of them are, I should have done 2 days ago. But
That's the other missing
I'll catch up.
So what was the name of the first one you mentioned?
Lucid Charts.
Lucid Chart. Somebody write that down, but that's good.
And Asana is the sort of a task management thing, and
Asana.
everybody
Great stuff.
can link into that. Yeah, so they're two things I use. They help me, obviously not 100%, but they help. And the other thing I do want to say is because of my nature, I want to get to a point where I've got enough structure where I can have some time in the week where there's no fucking structure. Because I like to be able to have space and think. I'm a big picture thinker, and I like to understand, what's important, blah blah blah. So,
But that is structure if you're saying
I know that, but
afternoons.
I feel better. The fact that I call it no structure makes me feel better.
Good.
That I have that. Yeah. Yep, that's it.
Oh, cool. Helen.
Oh, sorry.
Helen, I have to go to Lise, and then we're going technical stuff, and then Chris, and then we'll come back to you.
Okay, what Dean was saying, I downloaded Asana, and I probably lasted about 2 days with it.
Right, yeah.
And,
I'm hanging in there.
Yeah, and I see something come up and go, yeah, I must do that, and then I do something else. So my structure is very loose, but it does work for me.
Yeah.
Things like, I would put in there, okay, do emails first, do this, do that. But if I've been getting loads of grumpy emails, and I'm just like, I cannot deal with those in the morning.
See any more, Helen.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So they go to the end of the day now because I've just had enough of grumpy people.
Yeah.
So.
But you got flexibility.
You have to have flexibility, and I have a lot of flexibility in my day because if I'm processing orders and I have 20 more orders than the day before, I just keep going. I'm in a flow, and I don't want to interrupt that flow and go, I've only got an hour to do orders and then I've got to do this. My structure is quite loose, but I tend to do the same things
But
each
you're a
day.
task completer though.
Yeah, I am a task completer.
That's a good topic.
Do you not worry about, is it not on your mind in the morning that you've got to deal with those grumpy emails in the afternoon?
No, because generally I'll do them, I do some in the morning, the nice emails, and then I do the grumpy ones later because I'm not in the right mindset. Yeah.
Delegate.
Yeah. So I have to be in the right mindset.
See, I'm a soldier. So I'm a soldier. I prefer to get in there and get the negative stuff first and destroy through it.
Yeah, I'm not in eat the frog first, I'm in the frog last. Yeah.
All right, we're going. We've given up the ball. Yeah, I know. There's a ball. Wait, stay focused. We had to listen. Who are we up there?
You go next because I've lost my frog.
You've lost your
Oh, the only thing I was going to say about structure was, because I'm not a structured person myself, I've been trying to make templates and that kind of stuff to work with and to use. So yeah, templates to me is a way to become structured. It allows you also to keep a consistent record of things.
Gee, I start a task and I break it into whatever parts I need to. And I last year I was going to become a dating coach, right? Whacked out a website, started some content, and thought about the whole structure of the building, and then something didn't click and didn't gel, couldn't get it going, and 2 weeks ago I deleted it.
Well, we
That was one of those penguin ideas. Very cute, but it's never going to fly.
Yeah, thank you.
We got to.
But the next thing, listen. So the next task, I wanted to start a blog writing service. So I thought out the whole process and how it worked, and then there was a gaping big hole in that idea as well. So I deleted that as well.
But did you delete everything, or have you just put it on hold? Because
No, I delete everything because if a task isn't done in a year, it's not feasible. It's an idea. But everything I start, I need to finish. But every time I start something, I don't start it without an end picture.
so that's your personality trait, though.
Yeah.
And penguin, I like that. I'm going to use that.
No, you can't. That's copyrighted to Matt James. You stole that. Which is...
Well, he's my business card.
Yeah, you can't see him.
Change it to a Kiwi.
Yeah.
All right, so where are we at?
Me.
Copyright dog.
Me.
Processes going off what you were talking about templates and stuff. I'm really lucky because I have a Holly. Now, what a Holly is my business partner, who is the most amazing person in the world. you can keep that on record. She's my complete opposite. So I'm a big picture thinker. I'm out there, I want to be doing and talking to people and getting stuff done. She's detailed. So when we first started our business, there was just the two of us. I was out there seeing the clients. Holly's been quietly working along in the background. We've got templates for everything. We've got email templates, we have processes, we have flowcharts. So for the last, since the company's been going, coming up 5 years this year, but we've been working on all of these processes, and now we're at the point that when we hire team members, it's so simple because we've got processes for everything. At the moment in my industry with the FMA, we're going through big changes regulation-wise. And Holly was so proud because we had a meeting with the FMA, a big meeting, and they were all going through compliance. We're covering off all the stuff that everyone's only just bringing in because of all of this extra stuff. And it really, I would never do that myself because that's not my personality trait. But by having someone like a Holly, so what I'm trying to say is I'm really lucky to have a Holly, but if you can find someone who's like a Holly, because you can't have mine.
but equally she's lucky to have a you because those two complement your business.
Yeah. When we did the Dale Carnegie one that we had in here, we are polar opposites. So we were either going to get on, like we do, or kill each other. We were going to kill each other. And there's a few times that we've been in the office and one of us is grumpy and the other one said, can you go home? Or I'm going home. But yeah, it's just those processes are so important. Like if your business that you want to grow and be able to have team members, my big thing for me now is by having those processes that you can then remove yourself, because if one of us actually left, we've got all of the stuff in place that anyone can pick that up.
It's like a manual that you can pass to the next person.
Just before we go, David, I'm thinking, think about some tasks that you do every day that you could put into a template. I'll pick on you, Helen. She often writes an email, and if you wrote something very similar to that, can I have a copy of it? And then I'll use that. And then I have everything. So, like, David?
Just going on, is that Lucette is a woman in this organisation who can actually do that sort of thing. Okay, that's the first thing. So within Elite 6 there are people who can help you with that sort of thing if you're not good at doing it yourself. That's the first thing. Second thing is we should all think about having that sort of system in place, especially if we've got a larger organisation, because it just means that if you've got those processes in place, your business is easier to sell going down the track, and at the end of the day we've got to be thinking about that sort of thing, okay? Financials and having your systems in place, and it makes it for an easier sale every time.
And a real good place to start with writing systems, because we're talking about structure today, is actually just to do some simple frequently asked questions to put on your website, because you'll probably find that when you start doing those, you'll probably realise that you need a public answer to that question and then a processing part of that question for your team members.
What sort of question like?
Well, with Elite 6, for example, I have 17 questions on our frequently asked page, and in the back end of my billing system I have a knowledge base with the answers to those questions. So for people, can I put my membership on hold? Just no, you can't. We don't have stop-start memberships because in our industry it isn't feasible for a business networking organisation. So I've even put an explanation on there, but then when I'm writing an email back to a client, I need to put that in a more flowery way. I can understand your predicament and why you may want to put your membership on hold, but actually the yearly fee, blah, blah, you know.
So it's like 50 ways to say bugger off.
Yes, yeah. And then they go, but I'll be back next month. So then I need to add stop-start.
But it's industry dependent, because what works with you, what works with me, I mean, we have resources for our clients, but you can just email it to them 4 times, and the 5th time they'll still ask you this similar question, just a different way to see if they're going to get a different answer.
Yeah.
But it's just processing and people.
And frequently asked questions can literally be your terms of service, your your shipping policy or your privacy policy. Can cover a lot of that stuff, but no one really reads. And often I have frequently asked questions on my phone. For example, I get asked, what time's the meeting, where is it? 10 times a week. So I just have a cut and paste. But I could actually just have a cut and paste, go read the friggin' website. But they never read, so they want that personal touch. So, you know, and I spend a lot of my time doing that. So rather than sitting here writing up a text, you know, or and getting it wrong and missing out, the address or the day or the time, AM or PM. The amount of times I get asked for, do you have meetings in the PM? And I said, no, I like to have a life. Then I tap, better not say that. Helen.
I have good structure in my business now around financials because I've paid for a full-on Xero subscription, which is really well worth it, and I have a really good accountant. And prior to that, I was doing it in MYOB, and that was just a nightmare because So Xero is fantastic, and having an accountant is fantastic. And at first I thought, I can't afford an accountant, but it's saved me money.
Can't afford not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's been
structure
really
to make your accounts more easy.
Yeah.
I had a lady that was struggling with her accounts the other day, and the first thing I say, I interrupt everyone, is how much do you pay per year? And she goes, I said, how much do you pay? She said, $800. I said, pay $2,500 for an accountant, get a decent one. They'll show more interest in your business.
Yeah.
The $800 a year accountant is just doing this. He's just doing the bean can at the end of the year. Yeah, that's right. Right, we're with Stephen. Nice shirt, by the way.
Go, Steve!
I used to have structure in my business where I would prioritise.
You used to now, no?
The structure I used to have is I used to prioritise my jobs in order of procrastination. So I used to put the ones that I had to do most urgently at the bottom, and then I used to bring the ones that were least urgent to the top. So I had a fairness factor. And what I used to do is the first thing I'd write on my list is write a list so I could cross it off. So then what I've had to do is I've realised...
You're ready right away.
Yes, I was already in front of the game. What I've actually had to do is turn my structure upside down. So what I've been doing is get shit done, is my new piece of paper that I do, and I take everything that I was procrastinating on for the longest period of time and put it at the top of the list.
Eat your frog first.
Yes, it's a good book to read. And so what I've been doing now is finding what's the biggest issue that I have to do and do it first. And when I do it, I realise, why did I procrastinate? Because it only took me half an hour. And I was a month ago I should have done it. And that's giving me freedom, and it's my mindset's getting bigger, and now I'm looking for the things that I should have done and haven't done, and it's really changed.
And it becomes empowering, doesn't it?
Oh, it's fantastic.
A nice thing I heard was, we were talking about to-do lists in a way, and then I listened to some speaker, if he's listened to the podcast, I'm not stealing your content, I'm recycling it, and they said before they went to bed at night, they went and got 5 things that they must do for the next day, and then they woke up with a purpose, and then that was their task, just get those, and then they accomplished more. I think it was a 4-hour week book, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
It's an accomplishment.
Overnight, your
Waking up and
subconscious
you're
is working on those items as well. So when you wake up, you've got to run fine. And way to go.
You're already stressed.
So we're doing slightly different. Like when we go to bed at night, we've been saying, me and Lee will go say like 3 things that we're most grateful for, like the best things that happened today. So we go into go to sleep, like trying to think of the good things. Because our life's kind of crazy. So it's trying to like flip that round, whereas I'm always thinking about work. So I'm trying to, before I go to sleep, think about something that I'm really grateful for or something that I really enjoyed today. Even if it's this like stupid
Say to Liam tonight, Elite 6 was my highlight of the day.
Oh, I'm sure he'd love that.
No, it's gone now. We're pushed for time. We've got 3 more quick things. Rob, that's quick.
Yeah, right. I'm going to talk about your website that you couldn't get through to the other side. So there was a behavioural psychologist called B.S. Skinner who put a mouse into a box, put a tunnel off it. Have I told anybody the story? No.
Please do.
Had cheese at the end of the tunnel and a shot pad that the mouse had to walk over to get the cheese. And he tested the stress levels of the mouse or the rat, whatever it is. And because the rat wanted the cheese, wanted to approach the cheese, avoid the shot pad, went there, thought, no, I'm not going there, but got stressed because he had an approach avoidance conflict. And then, so B.S. Skinner ended up with another tunnel and another tunnel and another tunnel, same thing, cheese, had to go over the shot pad. Even though the rat or the mouse is not moving, He knows all these tunnels exist. He knows all these things that he wants, but he can't get them. And he gets more stressed and more stressed and more stressed. It's called an approach avoidance conflict. We have it every day we put something off. Every time we come to wanting to do something, but we have the shot pad between us going in and implementing that website or that task or that phone call or whatever it is, that stress. You need to resolve it. And as he took the tunnels back, the stress went down. We need to shut our tunnels. And I think that sometimes we need to go to the tunnel and resolve it. Whether we decide we are not doing this website, or I am definitely doing this website and I'm going to work through and stick at it until I work it out. But we need to resolve these things. And David Keane, who's got a book out called The Art of Deliberate Success, I went to a seminar years ago, he said, he studied CEOs and he said the ones who do their emails at the start of the day, he knows will be the least effective CEOs.
There you go. I can
Interesting.
mine at the end of the day.
Cool. Right, Helen?
Just following on from handwriting and diaries and things like that, Jenny laughs at me and said, why do you write things down? But I really love writing things down. And one of the reasons is I can see it. It's right there. If it's in my phone goes black and then I can't see what's there. Same on the computer. I love to write it down and then I have great pleasure in rubbing it out and, putting a cross through it. I've done it, and so I can visually see it, and that's what I like doing. So, yeah.
Thank you very much.
If I can add to that,
Yeah.
just a couple of things. One, and the advantage of that is it gets it out of your head.
Yeah.
And it gets onto paper, and all of a sudden now it's a whole lot more real, and
Yeah.
there's less you have to stress about.
Yeah.
But the other thing, I've just recently started using Microsoft's project.
Oh, stop it.
Well, I have sort of mixed feelings about it because I'm not a Microsoft fan, but at the
Oh,
end of the day,
I don't have any mixed feelings about it.
If Apple was a religion, I'd join it.
Yeah, I know.
Microsoft
Do
wouldn't.
you know what my Microsoft password is? I hate Microsoft. Sorry.
Right, okay. Well, anyway, on that note, I've
Sorry,
had to
Bill.
use it anyway because I'm dealing with a larger company and that's all they use. And so I had to kind of bite the bullet and do it. But in working through all the different tasks I've got in front of me in terms of a show home coming up, it's really interesting to sit there and go through them all and think, oh, there's a gap there, I should be doing this or that. And I've been trying to think how I can actually apply the same thinking across to, from a business point of view. So, because you do get the ability to sort of start, stop, shift things along, and this impacts on that and so on. It seems to be an interesting way to work, I'm just not quite sure how to apply it to business.
That's cool. That's fun. That's cool. That's all the ball's gone. The thing we started off with was structure, and we started talking about systems. Thanks, Sean. That's good. I think systems are good. So we sort of went off target a wee bit. If I'm thinking that accountability could be a good topic. Why don't we hold ourselves accountable for some tasks that we should be doing and voice it and then make it happen? Or do we need a whole talk on accountability? Or do you really want to talk about guilt, which I really did want to talk about next week?
Well, why don't you cover guilt?
I think I know. Business use.
I think it was Sahara who talked about a business mindset or something.
Yeah.
Mindset.
Business
Business
mindset.
mindset.
Business mindset.
You know, what about our individual business mindsets or even this with?
Yeah, because Danny, this morning you mentioned it at our other meeting, and I made a comment about maybe you're the only one in the room that feels guilt, because everyone else was saying, well, I don't. They just
I do.
remove them.
I do.
Yeah, I feel good something.
It was me.
I'm having the afternoon off today. I'd still feel guilty about it if somebody rang me up and they said, where are you? I'm Hampton Springs in the pool.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got guys working
Yeah.
5 time off. I'm thinking that I'm guilty that I'm.
Yeah. So,
I'm better than I was, but certainly, yeah, there was when I changed from being a mother that could ditch her kid until 6 o'clock to a mother that had to not do that.
Right.
Lots of guilt.
so we're a bit over time. I just want to say takeaways for today. What did we get out of this meeting? Highlights.
Businesses need structure, but we apply them in different ways depending on us.
Yep.
I like
Penguin.
business.
Yeah.
Penguin.
like
It's
Penguin.
copyrighted to Matt Jones.
Matt Jones, I've
Coaches need
changed
Matt
it
Jones.
to a Kiwi.
Templates, learn about templates.
Templates.
Coaches
Templates.
and coaches.
Excellent. And next week topic?
What did we just say, David?
Mindset.
Mindset.
Business mindset.
Business mindset. Excellent. Hey, thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Please leave comments, and if you have to run away, I'm just stopping the podcast. Thanks.